Hey friends, welcome to the Fireside. Always excited to have you back here for a brand new episode, and we have a great one today with my buddy Gabe Ripley. Gabe Ripley runs Tattoo Now. You may know him from that. Reinventing the Tattoo. He is a partner in Tattoo Career Builders. He has been doing techie stuff in the tattoo world for probably 30 years or so, 25 to 30 years. And we partner on the Paradise Tattoo Gathering together and several other projects over the years. And it was just fun to sit down and talk a little bit about the state of tattooing today, right here at this point in time in the winter of 2025, January, February of 2025. In our Inside Fireside Tattoo Club and just in general, I've been hearing a lot of talk about tattooing slowing down. A lot of our club members are struggling financially with cancellations and people just not booking, just not having a lot of appointments on the books. So I thought I would sit down with Gabe because he has a lot of really great ideas on how to solve problems like that. For many years, Gabe owned Off the Map Tattoo, or was a partner in Off the Map Tattoo, which had several locations around the country and around the world, really, and had a steady stream of guest artists and a lot of resident artists. And he played with a lot of different ideas, experimented with a lot of ideas on how to get clients into the shop. And so a lot of the things that he was doing back then, 10, 15 years ago are still relevant today. And in fact, maybe even more relevant today as we're also dependent on digital marketing, reaching out to people digitally. He has some more analog ideas that might end up being more effective. So thought it was important to get him in front of you guys. And in case you are having issues like that, maybe you can try a couple of Gabe's methods and maybe they'll get some clients in your chair. Also, if you get any value out of this episode, on March the 23rd, 2025, Gabe and I are going to be doing a live online sort of workshop where I'm going to start the workshop off with my Find Your Style seminar, kind of an adapted version of it, an updated version of it. Will kind of help you to discover your unique mark making, some of my tricks and hacks for stealing cleverly from other folks, from other artists, from your favorite artists. And then Gabe is going to pick it up where I leave off and help you focus on marketing that style and finding the right fit clients. So that's something that we're going to put together. Online seminar, March the 23rd, 2025. I will leave a link to the landing page for that so you can learn more. As of the time of recording this, I don't have all the details for start time and all that, but if you go to the landing page, you'll be able to sign up for it. I think that's about it. Let's go ahead and get to the episode. With online kind of communities, tattoo communities. I don't know about what with reinventing, but with the Fireside community, a lot of people were talking about not being very busy lately, having a lot of cancellations. I've had some cancellations as well. Probably, it feels like more than most years, but we've had this conversation in the club some, like, how every summer you think it's hotter than the summer before or colder than the winter before, and it's like, really...
Well, that's actually technically true.
Well, that's technically true, but you're always like, I swear it's not normally this hot. But, so I don't know. I feel like January is always like this, and, I don't really measure my year over year. I know I could go back and look at QuickBooks probably and find out if I'm actually slower. But the sentiment from most everyone feels like that they're slower than they have been in some time. Are you getting that same type of...
Yeah, I think that there's, for the first time, really, there is an overabundance of we'll see. There's way more tattooers than there ever have been before, and they're better, really. Like, there's a lot more bad tattooers, but there's a lot more good tattooers and better tattooers and fucking more awesome tattooers than there ever has been, right? And so there's more clients also. Right. So, like, even though, and I don't know where we're topping off. I used to say in the seminar, 10 years ago that like 30% of America was tattooed, between 18 and 60 or 50, wherever it was. And that means that half of America wanted to be tattooed. And now half of America, I think, is tattooed, in that bracket. Now, like, does 70% of America want to get tattooed? I don't know. At some point, there's going to be, we can't tattoo everybody, right? Like, there's going to be the rebellious people who don't want to get tattooed. But anyways, my main point is, for me, it feels like, the tattooing itself could still be growing, but there's more tattooers. So the supply and demand is something like we've never seen. And, tattooers were coming through, COVID times. There was a lot of people who got, had to shut down for long periods and were hurting and had that whole ordeal to deal with. there was a lot of tattooers who then, were just swamped if people had money and getting an extra, $600 a week or whatever. It was great. And so then there was, a good run, right? And so now all of a sudden there's like more tattooers than there ever have been. The supply and demand's shifting, So like I have a lot of clients, and I know a lot of tattoo shops that are still busy enough, right? They've been sending out their emails like usual. They've been having their, client appreciation parties like normal, or they're just really nice to their clients and pay attention like they should. It's not like across the board everyone is slow. Now that said, yeah, there's definitely, amazing tattooers who are not nearly as booked as they have been. And then some people who are, straight up like, oh, wait, I think I got left, behind a little bit. I got to hustle. And, but again, I think there's like level one marketing-y things, that people can do that often
what would
when
you
I
consider,
ask.
what would you consider level one that people could do to get?
Well, so like, I know it's a lot of work. I know it's work, but like just posters out on the streets, right? With a QR code that goes to a really easy to fill out consultation form that you actually respond to, right? But like, even with phone numbers, like your portfolio of awesome artwork, either if it's a full tattoo or a couple tattoos, out on the streets in front of people. I mean, again, if it doesn't work, then maybe people don't want to get tattooed by you. Maybe you should get another job. Right? But the main point is, like, that's a way for you to get your portfolios in front of people. Go to the rock and roll clubs, pass out flyers, right? Like that street team stuff that, might be weird for a corporate-y kind of, tattoo shop with lots of glitz or whatever bling to be like passing out flyers to kids at rock and roll shows, right? But main point is, like, that's one part, like the street team and posters and stuff. Mm-hmm. There's the digital.
You don't see that a lot. I don't ever. That's a good idea. I've never done that personally, but we've talked before about how, and I know you're big on traditional kind of print advertising and stuff, and back when you guys did your mini magazines for Off the Map, that stuff really grabbed attention. I think I'm sure it was effective. It's an effective kind of marketing tool, huh?
For me, it's always the dance back and forth between virtual and real. Right. And so to your point, I love real tactile stuff, and it works. Yeah. I was sending pictures to some of my other tattooers in the Tattoo Now Roundtable I was at a coffee shop, and there was posters, and there was a whole lot of posters out. And I sent the picture. I'm like, what's missing? And they're like, I don't know what. I'm like, a fucking tattoo shop poster. Like people at coffee shops sitting around waiting for their coffee shouldn't be looking at awesome, tattoo designs or tattoos with a QR code that makes it really easy to pick up later or whatever. And I remember when I was at the height of the studios, when our bills were like $275 an hour every hour, whether I was asleep or whether I was awake. That's how much the machine was spending. I think it was still well worth it for me to spend 2 hours to go out and poster if no one else would, right? Often you could have a client who will or pay a street team, if there's one in your area, somebody's doing posters for rock and roll bands. Like there are people out there that are doing, but even still, I like doing it, right? And again, it's hard to like. I don't need to convince anybody, but it's like then all of a sudden there's hey, can I put up this poster in your coffee shop or rock and roll club or brewery or whatever? Oh yeah, sure. What's it for? Oh, it's for the tattoo shop. Oh wow, that's great. I've heard of those guys. Oh yeah, thanks. That's great. And then all of a sudden, there's a relationship that gets built with the the area community businesses. So like level one, just like go out, put out posters twice a month, and say hi and be nice to everybody when you go into their places of business to ask, and then you'll find that there's places out in the streets. Some of them might even be persistent. Then 6 months from then, like all those friendly businesses that you've been catching up with, invite them out to a party. Oh, what's this poster? This poster is an anniversary party where we're giving away, and then level 3 would be we're giving away gift certificates. I've got 15 other area businesses who've been coming out to our annual party years from, flash forwarding quickly, right, to a couple of years now. We're doing it for a couple of years. We've got 15 other businesses that give us $100 to $300 in gift certificates. In exchange, we'll give you gift certificates and promote your party and whatnot. And then now you have, say, 6 to 10 area businesses that have a similar-ish clientele who have had your posters up normally that says holiday party or anniversary party, with gift certificates from the brewery, the rock and roll club, the, coffee shop, the bookstore, et cetera, et cetera. And, it's work. It's a lot of work. I can't, then people are like, well, isn't that a lot of work? And, well, it's a lot of work being busy. It used to be, we were ahead of the game at that point when we were doing all that stuff. For me, it's easy to be like, well, you should be doing all that stuff. Now I think you really have to, you should be doing at least a level 1 and stuff. And then we have email lists. And again, so I guess, anyway, main point is that it's about the dance back and forth. All of that print, tactile stuff sends people to awesome virtual digital world stuff, videos and or, just staying connected and portfolios and special invitations, all that stuff. And then we could stay in touch via email, via SMS, via the websites and YouTube videos, all that stuff.
Yeah. That's a good idea, and I think probably most people don't do that. But what I've seen people doing a lot is offering, discounts or pay half price if you pay this month for a tattoo next month, and then they put themselves further and further behind, and people go into this kind of super scarcity mode where they think that it's never going to pick up, and I've got to just grab whatever scraps I can. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I try not to devalue the tattoo. So I'm not the methodology that I would use in that case would be, well, for first thing I would be like, are you hitting up your current clientele before you're like begging on fucking Instagram, right? So trying to do that shit on Instagram where like 1/10 of your followers are actually going to see the posts, unless it's really, that's not even playing. That's I don't even know what that shit is, right? But if you have access to your client list and you're emailing them and you're texting them and you're saying, hey, I'm slow, so instead of sitting on my ass, I'd rather tattoo you, but I can't do it for free. I want to give you a discount. I wouldn't be like 2-for-1 deals, I'm fucking, dying. I would be more like, first person to get back to me from my text gets a, $400 credit, right? So it's still a $1,000 tattoo, but someone's got a $400 credit, right? Now that's just a real simple, get back to the text. Normally I would probably say something along the lines of like, and what do you get out, and also what do you get out of it afterwards? As a business, as an independent artist as a business, or as a shop as a business, and again, just throwing something out there on TikTok and being like, hey, I've got some discounts if you do some stuff, that doesn't, if you tag me or or whatever, some of that can work, right? But it's a lot of work for a really weird, flaky reward. Whereas, a best tattoo idea contest, right? So we would do this in real life. We could do this digitally, but fill out the form so that we get your email and we get your phone number and we make sure that you're serious. And mostly serious. There's a lot of funny tattoo ideas that come in. But the main point is, then we say, hey, free tattoo, best tattoo idea. And then say you get 50 to 100 people that have all been thinking about getting their tattoos. Some of, maybe half of them are actually really serious. One of them is pretty damn good, and you get to pick. Is it a one-shot banger that is going to, be right up your alley for your portfolio, or do you actually want to do that bodysuit, right, or sleeve or whatever, right? So you get to pick the best tattoo idea, right? So, and then you have all the other people who have entered that you get to email back, say, sorry, you fucking don't have the best tattoo idea. Sorry, you suck. But you don't suck that much. We'll still give you a $100 credit, a $50 credit. Click this link to get onto my special calendar. Thanks for participating, blah, 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 blah. And, but again, for me, we also have, we do talk about all this stuff in my Tattoo Now Business Roundtable, or through the Tattoos.Social. But another one would be, one thing we did is we valued out, income per client, right? And these are all just numbers, and we figure out how much it's worth it to the artist, how much it's worth it for the studio, and then I was like, that means I could, I think at the time I could take $25. I would literally if I'm going to make $125 per tattoo, why wouldn't I just give everybody fucking $25 to get tattooed? And right, like PayPal used to do that. They used to give you $10 just to sign up, right? Because they know that in the long run you pay more. And so I was like, well, why didn't I do that? Well, and so then eventually, so my first answer was, well, let's stay focused. And so we picked particular groups of people who we wanted to tattoo, and then we started doing, again, credit and gift certificates towards specific people. Eventually, though, we were like, we just made $25 little tokens, little like poker chips, They were wooden poker chips, and they were pretty cool. I would just drop them all over town, anywhere, right? And then people would bring back, I don't know, we kept track of it, right? Again, we want to keep track of all this stuff, but anywhere between 10 and 25 would come back. One time use, and so,
Good for anything in the shop, or just tattoos, or what?
Just the tattoos,
Yeah.
and I think at the end of the day, the shop ate it, right? So it came off of the shop's end. You can make agreements with artists, or if you're just an artist, you can take the hit just to get your people in and still pay out the shop. Again, there's, different, if you're paying rent, you're easy on that one, or, if the shop's employees, you just got to convince the owner it's worth it. There's a lot of, and I can't, I can help with any of those particulars. I just can't help blanket-wise with all the particulars because everyone does it a little different.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
not everyone can give away tattoos all the time, or
Yeah, you mentioned just quickly client appreciation parties. How did you guys structure those? I've never done one of those. We've talked about it, and I definitely should. I feel like a lot of my clients should know each other. They're all, most of them are good friends of mine because of the type of tattooing that I do. And I know, I think a lot of them remind me of each other, and I feel like that they know each other because I know them all so well. So I don't know why I've never pulled the trigger on one, but kind of walk me through what you guys would do for that.
Yeah, me neither. Well, for one, I guess I do like parties, of all sorts. But yeah, so Adrian Lee was an inspiration for this. He would bring together all of his back pieces, probably still does, right? And best clients, and throws nice, awesome tattoo parties, right? And so then it also kind of, I think there was one of the books, from somewhere. It was like, what if we had a party and we told everybody to invite their smartest friend, all of a sudden, that's all great. And there's it's just fucking science, right? Like if you have a lot of happy clients and you bring them all together somewhere and you feed them and have some beverages available of whatever sort. And then from there, it just grows, right? From there, you can give away, again, the gift certificates and the gift certificates of partner places, et cetera, et cetera. And then we would do probably, I don't know if it was 2 a year, 1 a year. We definitely did one big one a year. And it was, it was right around the holidays, and it was right around our anniversary. And, we would give away a shit ton of tattoos. And again, it would just be credit. So they would just run however gift certificates would or however credits would, through the studio. And then we would have best tattoo. I think at one point we got up to doing best tattoo idea per artist. So there'd be 13 or 15 or I don't know, different boxes, so each artist would decorate out the boxes so they look really cool. And then again, we have our email lists. So a lot of the marketing stuff is also stackable, right? So if you're putting out your posters out and then you have guest artists, now you're putting out posters for your guest artists. And then the guest artists see the posters for themselves, right? It becomes a self-reinforcing kind of a mechanism. But main point is then, 3 months in, again, now we have a party, so the poster's for an event, so people are looking at the posters, recognizing them. They're probably, possibly clients or friends of clients have heard about it. Now they're interested in the party because there's not only gift certificates for the tattoos, but gift certificates to the bookstore or to the movie place. And then we always have our email lists. Our email lists have been going out every other week, like clockwork. As soon as you enter into our ecosystem, hey, you're interested in us, so we'll reach out and educate. For me, a lot of tattoo sales, it's just about education. It's like the softest sell. Like, we'll present to you our awesome portfolio, our charming personalities. We'll convince you that, if we are the right person for you, we're going to be the right person for you. Now, I get it. There's a whole nother round of tattoos and tattoo shops that are like, come on in, we'll fucking turn you, we'll give you a slamming tattoo right out off the wall. Who gives a fuck who did it? It'll be worth it. You'll get, there's all sorts of types of tattoos. But anyways, as far as like that soft sell, it's about education. So for what we would be doing is, putting out every other week a newsletter, and again, maybe our posters out on the streets would even tease, get the perfect tattoo seminar. Click here to watch the video or to come in and see it in person or whatever. And so anyway, so rolling back to the customer appreciation parties, really the idea is to your point, chances are your clients are going to like each other. And if they all bring a friend, then all their friends are going to like each other. And if you're doing this in a really awesome, positive, creative environment with a couple of, borderline cheesy, but not too cheesy because everyone likes cool tattoos, promotions, then, like I said, it's I can't guarantee that it won't work, but I could kind of guarantee it won't work. If it doesn't work, you kind of suck, or you're an asshole, or you got to work on other things.
Yeah. I know when
Again, like I said, I don't mean to say it like that. Mostly I mean to say, like, if you have really awesome artwork and you're cool and you present yourself and you're creating a great environment, there are other forces of nature that are at work that could be against you. But, like I said, it's not rocket science. Put out cool artwork and people react.
Right. And I know for folks who don't know, you've been helping me for several years now with Fireside, and then by default with my own tattooing, because a lot of the things that you've helped me with Fireside have affected my tattoo business as well. And whenever you first pitched a lot of these ideas to me, like the idea of an email list and a newsletter, and you said, you need to do we came up with Tattoo Tips Tuesday, I think you did. And I remember thinking, like, I'm not putting out a new piece of content every Tuesday. I'm not typing an email every Tuesday. And I think a lot of times people don't understand the kind of the automation. So from a tattooer's perspective, you're doing tattoos every week, and you're probably taking photos of those, and you're probably posting them on Instagram. So a newsletter, and tell me if I'm wrong, but a newsletter could just be sharing with your other clients some of the cool stuff that you've worked on over the last few weeks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I kind of joke. I have a video somewhere. Like, again, if you're updating your Instagram before your Google business listing or your newsletter, like I said, you're playing. Like you're not even, and then you're complaining, right? Because your newsletter is going to should have a core of people that have already been tattooed by you. You've already convinced them, right? Like, I mean, I'm presuming none of us went to fucking marketing school, but in marketing school, I hear they teach that retaining clients and facilitating word of mouth, word of mouth is necessary, right? And facilitating word of mouth is, one of the best ways to generate, new clients. And again, what I would propose is that if you're not doing such a great job that your clients aren't coming back with their friends, like just and family naturally, like, all of the marketing and stuff is not as nearly efficient as it could be. You're basically just, spending a lot of energy to piss off people or make people blah more. When people are coming back with their friends and family, then all of a sudden you could jack that up, right? And really start to facilitate it. And that's where, again, a customer appreciation party is a really great way to help your current clients start to really feel, warm and fuzzy about it. And anyway, I guess back to your point though, like, I would put up to your Google business listing first, and then to your website, blog, and then out to your newsletter once a week, right? And to your point, we have tools now that we could automate almost all of this stuff. Right. And
go back to that Google business listing. Why would I? What's important about it, and why would I update it?
Well, if you want to get more tattoo clients, right? Like, I'm not saying you want to get more tattoo clients, right? But like. And again, I have another video, so click around or whatever. I'll teach the lessons now. It's pretty easy, right? So we have two beasts, that we could be feeding. And one's the search engines, and one's social media. And at the end of the day, when we're spending our time and our energy and making content and putting in places, we want to prioritize. I'm not saying we don't want to be in both places. I'm just saying we want to prioritize, and the search engines, so that would be Google and YouTube and your Google business listing, are designed to deliver the best results possible. Someone's searching for tattoos. That means that Google's job and YouTube's job is to deliver to that person the best tattoos content that it can. Social media, Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all of that, the CEOs and the scientists. Google will do that after they advertise to you. Granted, I'm not saying they don't advertise to you, but like, you skip by the first 3 ads and then they deliver the best content. And I guess to kind of your direct question, that Google business listing is Google content, right? So like, they have their advertisers, but then they have their Google business listing, and then they have their natural results. So I used to always be great at trying to get people natural results, and you still can, you still should, right? And then you could force your way to the top through advertising, and you can math that out and make it worth it. Your Google business listing is right there to the side, and we'll have images. So you can use your Google business listing for free to like get yourself to the top. And when you think about it, when someone's searching tattoos, Is Google going to deliver a result for a business that has updated their Google business listing once in the last year or never, or twice a year? Or somebody who's updated it 2 or 3 times a week, like your Instagram, right? And again, and then there's the whole thing about the intent of the client, right? So like if somebody's searching for tattoos in a search engine, they're looking to get tattooed. People on Instagram and whatnot. Okay, so then we have our what is Instagram, or what are the social media's goal? The scientists at the social media companies, they spend all day thinking, how could they keep us sucked into their social media platform so they could advertise to us? They're trying to keep us addicted to it, right? Like in some ways, Google's designed to send us away to the best result. YouTube is a search engine designed to suck us into the next video, which could still work to our benefit, right? Instagram is designed to get us to go to the next reel. You know, Facebook's designed to get me to go back and fucking talk politics and fucking fight. And you know, so think about which beast you want to focus on the most. For me, is which beast you want to focus on. And you know, I use the social medias, and we have schedulers that post stuff out, and you know, and again, the other thing with the social medias is they're going to reward people who are engaged in it, right? So if you really do like Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat or whatever the fuck, you know, and you're using it, then it is going to work for you. You're making your reels, and you're putting them up, and you're doing it live, and you're engaging in that platform, right? And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. But I'm just saying, like, you know, you could do the whole search engine array of things. You could do your website. You could do your email list. You could do your Google business listing. You could put posters out on the streets. You could have parties. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. Now, you know, one of my clients who's was a tattooer, is a tattooer. He was like, wait a minute. And like, now do tattooers have to be expected to be like marketers and managers and all these other things too? And it's like, well, if you're an independent contractor or you're renting, then yes. You know, and if you're an employee of a tattoo shop, then I guess that depends on the arrangements that you have with your, you know, the tattoo shop owner employer. And you know, and again, if you're working on a commission, you know, it's probably there should be shared responsibilities and all that stuff. It feels like, or whatever. But anyways, that's for me. I guess that's kind of my spiel about the social medias versus the search engines and how they're working.
Yeah, I was discounting. You know, in fact, until I started working with you, I didn't have any of the Fireside content even on our website. We were completely dependent on YouTube, and to an extent, we are still completely dependent on YouTube because we're embedding YouTube into our website. But when you introduced the idea that every time a new video goes up, you should be trying to get people to your website, to a place that you own, and then even beyond that. I was using like Linktree, for example, on my Instagram, where you're like, don't send Linktree, you know, clicks. Build your own link. We'll build you a Linktree in the website. So when they click, you know, what's the equivalent of a Linktree on Instagram that would show you the handful of things that you might want to see. It's actually it's a page in Fireside Tattoo, and it's not a Linktree page. And so that was kind of a shift in thinking for me, that it was important to like house all of the stuff on my own site and to get clicks to me. For that very reason, you were talking about making your way up in the Google search results organically and things like that. Just posting things regularly, and so many of us are putting out content every day or two because we're making tattoos every day. We're photographing those tattoos and we're putting them somewhere. So to your point, it's like, well, make sure that the somewhere is where it should be. You know, is useful to you and not just being lost in the abyss of Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah, you know, and there's different time frames and purposes, right? So like your website in the search engines and YouTube will deliver results 5, 10, 15 years, I think some of them maybe even 20 years from now. Instagram and Facebook, they're designed to keep us there and addicted within 24, 48 hours. That stuff's kind of old news. And I'm not saying not to like reach people where they're at. And again, our tools will wire in and post to Instagram and to Facebook and all these different places. It's just a matter of prioritizing, right? So we, for the conventions that I'm working with now, I've got a really great setup where we can schedule in YouTube, and then we have a routine that picks it up from YouTube and then puts it out onto Instagram Shorts, Instagram Reels, Facebook Shorts, all LinkedIn and all the other places, right? And but we really care about the most is the YouTube, and again, for events, Google Business Listings a little transient. But for like studios and for artists, you definitely want to have a good business, because that's also your Google business listings where your Google reviews are. So you always want to make sure that you're sending your clients to your Google reviews. And again, there's like just the intent. Someone that, Google's job is to deliver tattoo artists to people looking for tattoo. Well, more tattoos, I suppose, but great tattoos in the area. And Google reads the emails, it reads the links, it knows how it's behaving on all of the places. And so at the end of the day, it's really just about doing our best to communicate, and to educate the public about how to get the best tattoos that you have to offer, which is the best tattoos that you can do. Yeah. And
talk for a second about we've mentioned Tattoo Now a little bit, but how some of the, we'll take it from the standpoint of someone like me, like an independent artist rather than a big shop or even an event. At this point, maybe we should get into events a little bit, but like what are the tools that you think are the most useful inside Tattoo Now for like issues like what we're talking about for individual artists, maybe in studios that are trying to fill their books?
So it depends on the pain points and where people are in their career, right? So one of the seminars I have, we really do work with people from their very first years and start working on foundations to tattooers that are of exceptional influence and have been around for decades that we're inspired by, So all along the way, everyone needs something a little bit different, right? So ultimately, it's about the headaches, right? So, but now, if the headache is, say, there's 3 people in the studio or 1 person in the studio, and you're doing tattoos, and the phone rings 5 times a day, and one or 2 times it's about a piercing, 1 or 2 times it's about walk-ins, and once it's about booking an appointment, right? Like, we could just take that all away, right? The phone rings, the press 1 for tattoo. If you want to ever talk to a person, click here, we'll send you right to one. Click 2 if you're wanting to book a tattoo or get a walk-in tattoo. Press 3 if you're looking for piercing, right? Like just that doing those trees reduces all of a sudden people are working studios and they're like, wow, it's not fucking distracting, right? Doing best-in-class lead-ups to tattoo appointments. So somebody books an appointment in the calendars. We have the automation, not only automations that fire off reminders. Again, reminders is level 1. But like best-in-class reminders that lead to landing pages that have videos, right? So like, thanks again for booking an appointment at, Lasting Impression Tattoo. That's my fake tattoo shop. Lasting Impression Tattoo. It's lit. Anyways, thanks for getting your tattoo at Lasting Impression Tattoo. In 2 weeks, you'll be coming if you're flying in from out of town. We've got hotels and, attractions, blah, 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 blah. I even recorded a video if you want a guided tour of the area, right? So then they click on the link. It goes to a landing page with a PDF they could download and a video that, shows them how to get from the airport to the studio or whatever it might be, right? But main point is we could really spend a good chunk of time to make a best-in-class experience for the lead up to the tattoo. So by the time they're driving off the highway and they have to take that quick turn, they know because they watched the video. I'm like, oh, you said it's going to be a quick turn. I was already ready for it. No one misses it again, right? Same thing with like healing after the fact. You could have a best-in-class follow-up routine that includes, 2 days, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 months, etc. And so instead of like missing things and missing opportunities like that, we could actually like set it all up, and then every client already gets communicated like that. Scheduling nightmares, all that stuff could pretty much go away. With the exception of some people just really don't want to. There are use cases where people don't let up on the control of their calendar, in which case there's any calendars like a consultation calendar that you can let the public in on. You want to have a consultation calendar filled up. And again, this is where like, to your point, more people right now are interested or watching the video are probably interested in filling up their consultation calendars. People that are already booked up for 2 or 3 months, we would help craft their their client's incoming experience to more craft the perfect clientele. So maybe it's not so many, half-day tattoos, it's more full-day back pieces. Or maybe it's, fuck these back pieces, I just want, I'm getting old. I just wanted to do 4-hour bangers. Whatever it might be. And we can get pretty nuanced. I don't know, it's crazy. We could get nuanced. There's some people who like, anyways, so there's communication issues. There's the scheduling of the, like, how do I post in all of these places at the same time kind of issues. That, again, we help set up some of the routines so that you post up in one or two spots, and then that stuff just goes out like a pulse.
And in addition, the communication in all of those spots, one of the real kind of powerful features of Tattoo Now is the what you call the one box, but essentially like seeing where everything is coming from, whether it's questions or comments or whatever, emails, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, and they all show up in one spot, so you don't have to remember to go and check your, like, I'm terrible at looking at Facebook Messenger, for example. Like it never occurs to me to look at it, and it'll be months and months worth of people reaching out and asking questions that I was just missing altogether, and now it shows up in a text message thread along with everything else, and I can just reply to everything in one spot. I think that's one of the great features.
Yeah, it's nuts. And again, some of that again, the one box is like level one, like tools level things, right? So I guess one of the things about Tattoo Now is it's not just a set of tools, right? It's like a set of tools. It's also 25, nearly 30 years of experience doing businessy, techie stuff for tattooers, kind of regardless of the tools, right? Like back in the day, I used to program all this stuff by myself. Like I used to actually fucking program the shit. And then, over the course of decades, now it's decades, for the first decade, one by one, like the email list, I was like, you know what? I don't want to program email lists. We'll do like iContact or MailChimp, I don't really want to have to program in APIs to get into all of the, places to do the things, right? And then I probably, but then now we've got a couple sets of tools that, and again, so the one box is the level one tool, right? Now, having an awesome set of automated replies or semi-automated replies is like level two, right? So then now that we've opened up, instead of shutting off some of your DMs, like don't DM me, only call, or don't call, only DM, or don't email, like you open them all up. And then all of the replies are designed to like answer that one question and then send people to the consultation form, right? And I remember this at first when a couple of years ago when we first brought the one box to some tattooers, the best managers would have these really long conversations. And I'm like, no, like we don't want to, like we can't do that. I can't like get you 10 times more or 5 to 10 times more incoming communications, and then like, so the reply is then got shortened, and this is where like experience and documentation and all this come into play. And I guess now I'm giving away the secret, so everyone has. But anyways, main point is like those quick replies, just answer that question. Tattoos cost either a lot of money or a little money. It depends on how much you have. Click here to fill out the rest of the consultation form so that you can answer all of our questions. Then we'll answer all of your questions. And then somebody else might be like, does Jake have time to do a tattoo next Thursday? And so then I go to the frequently asked question, does X have time, Y? And it just says, well, actually, before we could even get that far, we just need to ask you a couple of questions. Click the link below to fill out the consultation form. And we can have that for everything, right? Then level 3 is taking all of those scripts, throwing them into the GPT AI stuff, and we could set up the computers to have those conversations. And there's a couple different sets of tools that we use to do it. It's pretty fun, we could get up these bots to book, up to 10 appointments a day, like of consultations, and again, part of it's just budgetary based, right? Like you blast a lot of ads out there to a GPT, consultation bot,
assistant, right?
That's just designed to book appointments and answer questions or to send somebody to a person. Well, and again, but then part of it's like that's where then just having you still got to be authentic, right? Like there's a lot of people that will like do all the computer geeky or all the marketing-y things, and like something. Yeah. Anyways, tattoos are such a high stakesy kind of a long lasting, jacked up thing that like I said. Anyways.
Yeah. Let's shift gears because a lot of these same tools that that we're talking about applying to fill people's books, their consultation calendars, whatever else. We're using, you and I, for people who don't know, co-promote the Paradise Tattoo Gathering. You've been doing it a lot longer, and I came in the last few years, and a lot of these same tools were used to build some automation and make it even possible for just a skeleton crew of a team like we have to put on a full scale event or a
Yeah.
moderately scale event, and then you're doing that as well for other
Just
for other folks, right? But
just started. And
yeah,
well, I've been working with the Icons and Prodigies with Alex DePasse and Alicio for the Icons and Prodigies show in Venice. And so we're using some of the tools for that, but not all of them. For Paradise, it was amazing, just like registration and automation. And if there's convention promoters, that are interested, we could save a lot of time. Like basically, all of that communication back and forth, we could still personalize, but they're automated. And so we could load up, 100 people into our invite list and personalize them all a little bit. And then it's going to invite people with really easy to click links, yes, no, give me a week or two to decide, fuck off, whatever it might be, right? They click on one of those 4 links. And then the follow-up with like, could you please fill out your registration form, and could you please click the registration fee, and could you please fill out your health form, and could you please, I was working with another convention at the time that they were doing it the old-fashioned way. This was a couple years ago. And, I would be on the phone with them and their health department trying to figure out which email is going to who, to what, to where. And I'd get blink, a little alert on my phone that says, hey, so-and-so just, completed their application. Like that alone, like for convention promoters to save time, again, it's kind of weird. Well, main point is, so I've set up a couple of different routines and structures to help with conventions, and the Virginia Beach show that's happening this year that Gabriel Cece just joined. Him and John are putting on. I'm going to head down to there, and I'm pitching a couple of very few 2 other promoters with the software. Again, if anybody's watching and is a convention promoter and wants to figure it out, then I'd be happy to talk to them about it, because it's a tremendous amount of time saved. I know how much exactly it's worth.
yeah,
And
yeah.
But and then there's the online stuff with for like the webinars and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And so for Paradise, we have all of the webinars that we recorded. Those are going up. I'm switching over from Paradise to Tattoos.Social. So as we speak, I've got the reinventing courses being moved over, and I'm moving over the Tattoo Now courses. And we're basically going to use the Tattoos.Social for a lot of those, just directly. So we don't have 4 or 5 apps for all of those communities and groups and courses.
I know that can get kind of confusing, and a lot of times because we work together, you can throw Fireside in, and so I get questions from a lot of people wondering what the relationships are like, or wondering what's what between you have obviously Tattoo Now, reinventing the tattoo, which is an online community obviously started by Guy Aitchison and based on his original book years and years ago, and then my Fireside community, which is not really affiliated other than we're all friends and try to collaborate sometimes with each other, and now this new Tattoos.Social platform. It's a lot of stuff. Can you clarify kind of what's?
Yeah, and I'm also working with Tattoo Career Builders too with Derek.
Right.
And he's like he's like in the coaching financial end of it, which is key. Because with Tattoo Now, I've got the techie. Well, so one of the things that separates Tattoo Now, one of the parts that makes us unique, is that we have the geeky tools, and we've been adapting with geeky tools, since the fucking 80s, 90s, really, but really since the 2000s for tattooers. Then we have documentation or experience, right? And as I was saying, obviously I've been working with, I guess probably thousands of shops and thousands of artists. Hundreds of shops, in various levels of like anywhere between just having them sign up to Tattoo Now and then being like a partner in a business, like with reinventing. I'm a 50% partner. It's fucking unbelievable. It's amazing. And shit, what was I going to say?
So what go into Tattoos.Social, because that's a new thing that people haven't heard a lot.
So I guess to your point, so we're doing all these different things, and having Tattoos.Social was a way for us, instead of having an app for all these different communities and these different sets of courses, they're basically different professional development groups for tattooers. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty amazing because they all have subtly different communities, but your point, there's crossover and there's mix, and some people are part of all of them. And we, the head, the people, I'm doing tech, so I'm in the background of a bunch, and there's, the people, like you're in a couple of them, Derek's in a couple, everyone kind of cross-pollinates. Anyways, main point is, so for Tattoos.Social, and we have it as our own technology. So this isn't, we don't need to be funded by anybody. This is going to help reinventing and Tattoo Now, to your point, a group of about 5 to 6 different communities have a spot where we could, it's there's a social media feeds, there's the discussion feeds, but it's also right alongside the learning tab, which has courses. And so there's, for Tattoos.Social, there's free tattoo business courses there. And the course I just uploaded is how to use Raycast and the schedulers to blast out social media posts in a very timely manner. So for studios and for conventions, wicked useful. For artists, pretty useful. You post twice a day or once every other day or 3 times a week. So it's not like, but if you're posting up for a studio or for a convention, then you want to check out that course. And there's other courses. Anyways, there's courses there, and
kind of
live events.
So it's kind of
schedule. So like all of our live event, of our webinars and our live streams. So that's the reinventing live streams. There's probably 4 a week. And they're all scheduled there.
You access this through a mobile app, essentially. You download Tattoos.Social from the App Store and log in and create an account, and then it's kind of it's like a social media feed on steroids, because you do have kind of a place to share tattoos, like you're flipping through Instagram, and it's laid out that way. But then there are different tabs within it that have, like to your point, different courses or live, webinars or other ways to kind of interact outside of just mindlessly scrolling through pictures of tattoos.
Yeah, there's no politics, no religion, right? Like this is a spot where we're like staying focused on tattoos. And I suppose maybe some of the groups or whatever might stray off a little bit, but the main point is, we're not there to fuck around, right? We're not, and the goal is to help people share, right? And so again, the reinventing crew needs a spot for the courses and to share their lessons and whatnot. And Tattoo Now Business Roundtable, we have events. We want to put them on the schedule. And you're releasing videos, and Tattoo Career Builders is going to be doing a book of the month club, right? So we'll have a spot to discuss that, right? And we really want to invite everybody, and we hope it catches. And the more, I keep swearing, whatever, you keep leaving me, I guess, the more fuckery that's happening with all these other social media platforms, and the more people will be attracted to coming to a place like Tattoos.Social, where all we're focused on is basically inspiring each other to get better and do better tattoos and art, and try to really, that's the focus. And if we stray too far from it, then the community will police it a bit. Like I used to have, back in the day, open forum, free-for-alls. I was all about free speech at all costs. And then I realized that we're a private spot. Like, no one has the right to come into our living room and shit on it. Like, right. So if you're an asshole, you're going to be bounced, right? And again, I had to learn that kind of the hard way. Anyways, main point is Tattoos.Social is a spot, to talk tattoos. And we're welcoming tattoo collectors. We're welcoming all tattooers to come in and post. We'll actually have a point system, so when people vote your tattoos, then it'll unlock different courses and whatnot. And if you find that cheesy, you can just buy the courses. But otherwise, you could upload tattoos. People could like them, your friend, and then it'll get you into into the round table. And I'm sure that we'll have some of your courses that are going to get unlocked. And actually, I guess that's the last part of the Tattoos.Social that I'm working on, is the webinar list. So moving the reinventing webinar list over, we have your webinars that we could sell. And the Tattoo Now webinars. So I'm moving them all over, and the Paradise webinars, so that all of the webinar infrastructure is just going to be run straight through Tattoos.Social in the future too. Because kind of, we had Paradise events over here, and Tattoo Now webinars over here, and reinventing webinars over here. Now, let's go to Tattoos.Social.
Yeah, get to it. And it's free to you. You could download it and just sign up. It doesn't cost anything to be a member. Of
there's free and paid communities. So there's and there's there's generally with this stuff more free stuff than people can handle. But that said, the professional development communities, the more you pay, the more focused the material is, and the more dedicated your co-learners are. But you could definitely try it, and I guess ultimately you could try it all out for free. I think that the move over this technology gives us really easy 7-day free trials. So for instance, the Monday night exercises with reinventing, it's $30 a month just to do the Monday night exercises with everybody. It's like going to the art gym. you could try it out 1 week for free. You just go sign up, do it once and watch one replay. And we'll be doing that for the Tattoo Now Roundtable. Anybody that's associated with the Tattoos.Social memberships will do that.
And I'm excited. We're moving. Some people who watch this may know we have the Inside Fireside Tattoo Club, and so far we have hosted that through Discord. We have a Discord server, and we do our drawing nights through Discord. In any bigger events, like for example our technique talks, where we'll bring in high-level tattooers and we'll pick their brain about kind of what their tricks for their style, what machines they're using and what inks they're using, and a lot of technical stuff that we probably wouldn't do on YouTube. We'll do in the Inside Fireside Club, but we're using Discord for just our drawing nights and our general communication, but then we end up using Zoom for these technique talks or our Mindset Mondays. And so we have these two different platforms that can get a little bit confusing. And Discord on its own, if you're not familiar with it, can be a little confusing and daunting. So we're moving over to the same platform. We'll have our own branded app, which is essentially the same thing that Tattoos.Social is using. And I believe we have a channel on Tattoos.Social as well. But I'm excited to be able to kind of do all of that stuff in one place, and it seems like it's cool that Reinventing has already got a little head start on it, and so I can kind of see what's working and what's not, and talk to you guys and try to make ours as strong as it can be.
Give a little teaser. I've also been getting my some of my interface game together a little bit. Oh, wrong camera. Boom. I've got my my zoom in and my zoom out. Right. Then we've got the demo. Right. So, this is some of the other things that we're teaching some of the other presenters. But here's I guess I have a couple of windows lined up. I only have like 2 more minutes before our meeting, but might as well give some teasers, right? So this is like a one box, right? And you can see here we've got Instagram and Facebook and whatnot. All of the different communication methods come in right in here. And just this alone here can really save people, a tremendous amount of time and really help catch all of the different leads that are coming in. And then this is the Tattoos.Social, and you can come in here to sign up, and then you get the link to download the app. And as Jake was saying, we have our feeds. Oh, it's going to ask me to sign in here. It's funny. And so we've got our posts, and so you could post up your videos and your images and your links and whatnot, and people could upvote the different images. Through the Learning tab up here is where we have the different webinars, and so some of them are for purchase, some of them are for free, and like as I was saying, in the side of the Tattoo Business webinars, this one's one of the core free ones. We've got tips and tricks on how to make, this is our posters. Speaking of our street team and posters, this is a poster workshop. Here's a full living business plan. These are video cascades. So this is posting a video on one spot and having it go to a bunch of others. This is the brand new one that I just put out, which is the posting reels with shortcuts and automations. So anyways.
And these are all free? These are free courses?
Well, they're not all free, So I think Nick Baxter has one in here that's $250.
Okay.
The Understanding Melanin with Killian Moon, $60, right? But that said, like Monday Night Exercises, 7-day free trial. Tattoo Career Builders 101, free. Tattoo Business Webinars, free. And if anybody else has any, webinars they'd like to just offer, we'd be happy to entertain putting them up here. But and then we have. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and then lastly, this is the events list. So we do each of these is live events. A couple of them are for subscribers only. So I know that Monday nights are subscribers only. I think at this point all of the other ones are pretty open. I think these Sunday night monthly webinars are for people who have a certain level of clicks on the buttons and stuff. Certain level, but yeah. Well, there we go.
Yeah, that's cool, and I'll make sure to link in the video description to if anyone wants to reach out and learn more. And I know that you're doing some one-on-ones with people if they have questions, consultations, and things like that. So I'll make sure. I think we already have a permanent link that goes to it in our video descriptions, but I'll make sure to put it up at the top in case people have questions about any of that, whether you're just trying to get people in the door to get tattooed, whether you're an event promoter looking to simplify, or at the very least, just jump in and join Tattoos.Social. It's free, and it's kind of like to Gabe's point, it's Instagram. It's a great social media feed that's very tattoo focused and has a lot of other tools and stuff in there. But so you have a meeting you got to get to now.
I do. I'm 1 minute late, but
Okay.
It's all good.
Cool.
Hey, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. It took a long time, but this was fun. And then we'll do one likewise. We'll get you on the Tattoo Now show, and then we'll discuss and hammer through all the Fireside stuff, because obviously you've got a whole hour's worth of amazing shit going on for tattooers also that we want to put on our side. So. Oh, and we were talking about that mixer. We want to do, I guess we'll do it after this is out, but we'll set some time and do a mixer to get all of
between the clubs, between the groups. That'd be great. We need to pick a date for that. Do an online mixer. A lot of people are in multiple clubs anyways. There are plenty of reinventing people who are in Fireside, so there's a lot of cross pollination. But all right, I won't make you any later for your meeting. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Hey, that's it. I hope you got some value out of that. Thank you to Gabe for spending a little time sharing his brain. Thank you to you guys for lending your attention to us. I know there's a lot of other places that you could be putting your attention. Don't forget, if you did get some value from this, we'll expand on it a lot more one-on-one attention in the online workshop, the live workshop that Gabe and I are going to do on March the 23rd. Thank you for supporting what we do, and we will see you next time.